CapeCast.
Howdy, folks. I'm Eric Williams, and welcome to CapeCast, the official webcast of the Cape Cod Times for January 18th. It was a busy day in Barnstable Superior Court, and we'll have a full report on the Christopher McCowen racial bias hearing coming right up. But first, we have this story. The bank robber accused of violating his probation by scratching and winning a $1 million lottery ticket will keep his windfall and will not face jail time as a result of a hearing this morning in Barnstable Superior Court. Timothy Elliott, 55, was found in violation of his probation for buying the scratch ticket and was ordered to pay $65 a month to monitor his compliance with terms of his probation, but can keep the payout. Also in court news, the third session of a hearing to consider racial bias allegations among jurors during the Christopher McCowen murder trial was held in Barnstable Superior Court today, and CapeCast was there. Christopher McCowen, who was convicted of the 2002 murder of Krista Worthington of Truro, arrived nearly 2 hours late for the hearing, apparently as the result of transportation difficulties from MCI Cedar Junction in Walpole. Once the hearing got underway under the watchful gaze of Superior Court Judge Gary Nickerson, Tufts University Assistant Professor of Psychology Sam Summers testified about the impact of racial bias on jury deliberations. Summers testified at the request of McCowen's defense attorney Robert George and was cross-examined by Cape and Islands District Attorney Michael O'Keefe. Summers testified to the different types of bias that can occur during jury deliberations and how even a well-meaning person can be affected in some manner by stereotypes during the decision-making process, particularly if race has been interjected into the trial in some way. But, under questioning from O'Keefe, Summers agreed that jurors can put aside feelings about race to reach a verdict. Judge Nickerson continued the hearing until February 1st, when it is likely that final statements will be made by the defense and prosecution. After the hearing, CapeCast caught up with the main players outside the courtroom.
I would suggest that if the entire jury knew the defendant was black, as I imagine they did, and they knew he was big, as I imagine they did, that I can understand why the response would be, what does black have to do with it? Because they already knew that he was black, right? So including it in that statement, whether it's conscious or less conscious, indicates that you think the fact that he's black is relevant to the bruising he might cause, just like the fact that he's big is relevant to the bruising he would cause.
And then in your professional opinion, would you say that there was racial bias then?
I would say that that's certainly a racially stereotypical statement, and that's evidence that there's a belief that the defendant's race is relevant to whether or not he committed this crime. And I think by the definition of racial bias, that statement would qualify as racially biased.
Well, I thought it was quite interesting to listen to the doctor. I don't think it added a whole lot. I think it sort of reinforces what the court has understood for a number of years now, which is why for a number of years in cases in which there is a victim of one race and an alleged perpetrator of another race, the court takes great pains to have an individual voir dire to put jurors in mind of the notion that they have to be free of prejudice and bias. And we all understand that people have feelings about different things, and that they're part of their personality as they go along. The Supreme Judicial Court recognizes that, but to put those things aside and listen only to the evidence that's presented in the courtroom. And that's why we do that, for a number of the reasons that were suggested by Dr. Summers. So I thought it was interesting evidence.
Do you think he offered up any compelling reasons to have a new trial based on what you heard?
Did the doctor?
Yeah.
No, actually, quite the opposite.
The testimony of Dr. Summers, I hope, will be very helpful to the court in determining whether or not racial bias permeated this deliberation room, which, of course, you know that's what I'm saying and that's what I'm alleging. And I don't necessarily need to bring a doctor like Dr. Summers in to tell anybody, because some of these statements that are alleged are clearly racially biased statements.
CapeCast.